You touch on a really interesting point, and this has been one of my articles or talking points, is the N apostrophe T in our vocabulary, the "nt." Get the "nt" out of your vocabulary, because you can take anything that you say that where maybe you don't have the direct experience or expertise in. But we often forget we did go from crawling to walking and from walking to running. Somehow we figured it out. So if we can think about how we have evolved over the years, and you look back, you know that anything is possible. If you can just reframe it, get rid of the the N apostrophe T, the int, and say, well, I have not written a book before, but I know I can talk to people who have, and learn and find people along the way that can help me fulfill getting my thoughts out into the world. So, beautiful point.
Everybody, welcome back to Living the Next Chapter, the Author Podcast. We get to meet amazing authors from around the world and hear their journey, their story, how they got here, how they became an author, what they've learned along the way as well, and a book and an author to fall in love with and share with all of your friends and family. You got to check out this author. You got to check out this book. Deb is here. She's got an amazing book. She's dropping into our podcast today from a CEO mindset. She's going to come in and help you through her book and through her story. Deb, welcome to Living the Next Chapter.
All right, Dave, thank you so much for inviting me onto the show and being able to share my experience with your audience. Writing a book was just an amazing experience for me. So thank you again.
Excellent. Let's talk about, first of all, where you're joining me from on this beautiful day. Where do you live, Deb?
Well, I live in Cincinnati, Ohio, so that's in the Midwest. Eastern time zone. Used to live in New Jersey. That's where I'm originally from, the East Coast of the United States. Nice. But for 12 years, I've enjoyed the beautiful Midwest, Cincinnati, Ohio.
There you go. It's got a vowel at the beginning and the end. So there you go. It's got to be good, right? I love it. Good. Isn't that the home of WKRP, Cincinnati?
Yeah, WKRP in Cincinnati was a famous TV show. So yeah, that Flying Turkeys and a couple good sports venues, known for beer. It's a big German community as well, and lots of theater. So it's a wonderful cultural center, and not too big a city that makes it too expensive to go to, and pretty safe.
Nice. Excellent. Well, there you go. And you're there, which makes it better. So that's awesome. Let's talk about I snuck that in there. Let's talk about your journey as an author. I have authors who listen to the show. They come here for inspiration. If I could compare the journey of writing a book to a marathon, you've crossed the finish line, and my listener has purchased a new pair of shoes. They have no idea what's ahead to write a book and to be where you are. As a published author, you know stuff that could really help an author that's listening. So if you could have a few moments with a young new author, new to the process, what would have been helpful for you to hear on a podcast when you started writing your book?
I have never been asked that question before, but all the wheels were spinning in my head, because part of it is you may have great knowledge, you may have great insights, but we are always too critical of ourselves and always wonder, do I have enough that's worth writing, worth saying, worth connecting with other people? And you, I just want to say, as an author, are unique. Nobody else has your exact thoughts or perspective on life or your specific specialty or experience. You have something unique to say, and just have the courage to put pen to paper, your fingers to the keyboard, what have you, and be able to put your thoughts out into the world, because I promise you, at least one person out there, you're going to make a lasting impact. So have the courage to just get started.
Were you an author or a writer before writing this book, or was this your first endeavor?
So that is an amazing question, because I have always been a creative. And when I was younger, as a child, I was a prolific writer, a prolific talker to myself in my head and to others, and acting, and always having some outlet for self-expression. I was a creative. I would, puppet shows, what have you. And my mother always thought I would be a journalist or go into the arts. And for many, many years, I would write. I would do technical writing. learn how to write like an engineer. I like to write, but I think I lost myself over the years. And, for another podcast show, I went into corporate, did really well, and then came out on the other side, kicked out of the nest, and became a business owner. But I will tell you, in those times of having a career transition, I had time to revisit a quiet place, to revisit my creative roots. And I started writing on LinkedIn, just putting out short bits of thoughts and articles. And every time I would write something, I would go into flow, like this trance. And as soon as I was done, I would like kind of come out of it. And I would actually start crying because I like rediscovered an outlet for my thoughts. And so, just a little bit for our authors here, I think I was always a creative. I was always a writer or a person that needed to express my unique thoughts because I had the courage as a kid to say whatever. Society kind of squashes that. But I want you to rediscover that what's inside of you, because I think I rediscovered that I actually was a writer. Thank goodness for spell check, though. And then I had thoughts that I could string together and put together a book, a system, something that somebody could benefit from. And so I have always been a creative. I've always been a writer. I just rediscovered that love and ability to express and connect with people through writing a book.
One of the things I hear often on this show from authors was their initial wrestling with their value as a writer and how people perceive them. I know that you've talked about this on your podcast, but this imposter syndrome thing that so many people seem to be fighting at some point, where they're just like, who cares what I have to say? There's so many amazing authors in the world. Where's my place in this world? Can you talk a little bit about what you talked about on your podcast in relation to imposter syndrome? Because there's somebody listening right now and they're like, oh, it looks easy for you, Deb, but you don't know how hard it is for me. How can we help that person?
So I don't doubt that you might have self-doubt. That's okay. That's a human element. That's a real emotion. But one of the things that I talk about, one of my most recent podcast episodes, I was very, very strong about this, is that so often in society we assume narratives that we're not. But because it's convenient and they identified all these pain points, oh my, I must have that. Nay, I have imposter syndrome. How can I put anything out into this world? People will find me out. I'm not perfect. They'll find out I'm not as smart as the next person. And really what I say, I'll use the archaic name, I'll say nay to that. Because what happens is the greatest marketing tool is when they can be able to find your pain point or label you or say you're broken. Right. And one of the things I say is that you're not broken. You don't have imposter syndrome. You have just not been around the right people to shine a light on your gifts. I really want your listeners to think about that. There has to be, even if it's your parents or an aunt or uncle or somebody like that, somebody is shining a light on your gifts. You just choose not to listen to that, and you listen to the masses. And really being an author and writing a book is, who am I doing this for? Now, you do want to do it for purpose. You have a strong purpose. You want to connect with somebody or change the thinking of the others, but lean into the people that care about you, that have always been saying, you're great, you're wonderful. And then you say, yeah, whatever. No, they see you. You've just not been surrounding yourself by the right people. But also it starts with you just believing in yourself. If nothing else, write a book for yourself to finally get those unique thoughts on paper and just know when you're done. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. That's why we have editors. Getting that out of your soul and putting it out into the world, you can see I'm getting a little emotional, is really what this is all about. The fact that maybe people buy the book or somebody reads it and says, that was pretty good, or I took something away. That's the icing on the cake. And forget about all those people that have never written a book and say you've got imposter syndrome. You're doing it. You're doing it. So just have the courage to start and don't assume the narrative. You're not broken. You have something beautiful to put out into the world.
I like that. I like that a lot. One of the things I've said to people that have been wrestling with this is to make a list of the things that you couldn't do in the past, but now you do without any thought of at all. It's just natural for you. But there was a point in time where you couldn't do any of these things, right? But now you can. Those are facts. Like, I can do this thing that I could not do in the past. An example for me would driving a manual transmission car, driving stick shift, right? People get in my car and they watch me drive and they're like, oh my gosh, you can drive standard? And I'm like, yeah, I've been driving standard my whole life. Like, it's a piece of me. Like, I don't even think about it anymore. Clutch, brake, gas, all that, no problem. All right. And to them, though, it's like I'm a magician because they've never been able to figure this out. So to them, they're like, you're really good at this. To me, I'm like, I don't even think about this. It's just who I am.
Yeah.
Right? So as you think about whatever that new thing is for you, and you're like, I can't do this, then make a list of all the things that you can do that for you just seem natural. And whenever you have that feeling of, I can't, look at the list of all the things that you can and make that as a counterbalance, because those are facts. I can drive standard when my friends can't. So I have a skill, a talent, a gift that they wish they had. But for me, it's nothing, right? But it's a fact. So when I have that idea in my head that I can't do something new, I always counterbalance with the list of facts of all the things that I can do. And that helps me to reset my thoughts so that I'm ready to do that thing that scares me in the moment. And that could be that imposter syndrome.
You touch on a really interesting point, and this has been one of my articles or talking points, is the N apostrophe T in our vocabulary, the "nt." Get the "nt" out of your vocabulary, because you can take anything that you say that where maybe you don't have the direct experience or expertise in. But we often forget we did go from crawling to walking and from
Right.
walking to running. Somehow we figured it out. So if we can think about how we have evolved over the years and you look back, you know that anything is possible. If you could just reframe it, get rid of the N apostrophe T,
Yeah.
the int, and say,
Yeah.
well, I have not written a book before, but I know I can talk to people who have
Right.
and learn and find people along the way that can help me fulfill getting my thoughts out into the world. So
And
beautiful point.
yeah, I love that. And that's why I like starting every episode on this show, speaking to that author that's listening and going, listen, it might seem insurmountable, but Deb's done it and you can do it as well. So listen to Deb, follow her advice, follow her inspiration, go after that because you can do the same thing Deb's done it. She's done it. So it works.
It does. Just have to believe in yourself and surround yourself with people that do believe in you as well.
There you go. And if you're ever questioning yourself, send a message off to Deb. She'd love to encourage you. From one author to another, reach out. I'm sure she'd love to send you off a message to encourage you.
I would. Dave, I am just loving this conversation with you. Thank you so much for having this platform. But again, going to podcasting, going to writing, why are we doing this? Yeah, to get our thoughts out into the world, but we're trying to connect with the listeners. So again, if I may, to your listeners, first of all, thank you for listening to me. Hopefully something in this conversation resonates with you. But as an author, yeah, I would love to listen to you first, and what are your ideas, and perhaps I can impart just one thought that might inspire you to move forward and put your thoughts out into the world.
And if you're thinking, oh, you people are too busy, you don't have time for me, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear from people that listen to this show, to Deb's show, right? Yeah, so we'll have all information for Deb to connect with her as well. Let's switch gears in talking now about the book itself. I want to really tie into the reader that's here. They're not really here to learn how to write a book. They're here for your book. They want to fall in love with you and share this book with their friends and family as well. And when I'm reading through about your book, I'm seeing how there's some things in here that are really going to help people from a business mindset as well. That's really going to help people to take some actionable steps for their leadership roles and the places we get placed in. You're the drop-in CEO person from that perspective. There's one thing you talk about is kind of like a compass part to what you're talking about. And there's one thing where you list out many different things that we can kind of work through in our roles. And I'm curious if you can kind of unpack this for me. I believe there were 7 different things that you focus in on. Can you kind of quickly give us kind of a a high level of what you're covering here.
Yeah.
And I have a kind of a next question after we kind of establish this.
Yeah, I'll be brief, but thank you so much for that. When we think about a compass point, we're always trying to go to true north or some focal point. So I label that as peace of mind versus just chasing results. Again, peace of mind is ultimately we as humans are trying to get to, whether it's in business or our personal life. But to your point, yes, there are 7 compass points starting in the upper hemisphere. What is your purpose and how do you perform against that purpose? I can go more into that. But west and east are, what's the past and what's your pride? Explore a little bit about the human and what makes them special or what's their deep culture or history. Again, you could do that in business, you could do that personal. But as we start interfacing with people, whether it's in business or what have you, the 3 southern compass points are people, process, and platform. So we can engage with people. We've got processes, we've got tools, but the whole book is really about human connection. I don't give you my cookie cutter approach on how to fix a business problem or have a relationship, but it's really an opportunity to look at what's your situation and what are those 1 or 2 compass points that I'm off track. You can pick your own adventure and maybe it just fix 1 or 2 to get you to true north in your situation. Again, you're not broken. You may be just a little bit off track. And that's what this book is meant to do, regardless of where you're at in your career or even your personal life.
Okay. So for you as an author, the one thing that I kind of pick up on from readers is they hear an author come on and they kind of have a framework and they outline it for us all. But it seems like in some cases that the author is writing from the finish line perspective. Like, I've accomplished all these things and here's what I've going to share with you. I've conquered these things and they no longer have impact on me the way they did. And I think that's a misconception that we have as readers. And my question to you, Deb, when you talk about these 7 different areas, what is one particular area in the moment that you're still working through, that's still there as an undeveloped, not fully realized part? Even though you wrote a book about it, you're still kind of working on this element.
Oh my God,
what is that? What is it?
Amazing, Dave. You are, oh my God, this is amazing. So to your listeners, he's amazing. And this is a great question because I have seen situations where I've pieced together the compass point that the compass where you can go through all these different things to help you solve your problem. But I will tell you, use the word conquer. I am not done. I myself am not a finished project. I'm still trying to conquer my own idiosyncrasies or my mindset. And when we think about the compass point, I'm constantly, I mean, this is really good for your readers, is if you're unsettled, you're really busy at work, you're having issues with your family, you're not getting the results at the gym, and you're just like really frustrated with yourself, you're not getting to peace of mind. You're actually just trying to chase results. I have to constantly remind myself, what is peace of mind for me? 1, it's my health. It's my relationship with people. It's relationships with those that I build with business and having enough in my world so I'm happy and comfortable. I'm not chasing the dollar, the whatever anymore, but I still get frustrated. And so then I got to go to the compass point performance. Performance is having everything that I need in order to ultimately achieve peace of mind. And a lot of it's mindset because I keep saying to myself, oh, I'm not going viral. I'm not getting enough downloads. Not enough people have read the book. I'm not. And I was just telling you, I'm the person that's positive all the time. I still have those feelings, but then I have to reflect and say, okay, Deb, why are you here? And just having one listener, one reader come to you and say, because of the content that you put out there, podcast, the author, this is how it impacted me. And I have to slow down and say, yes, that is peace of mind. I am performing because I changed the trajectory of one individual because of something I said or something I wrote. So I'm constantly struggling. Am I enough? What is peace of mind? Is it trying to impact the masses or just have an impact on one person? So I, too, continually struggle. So all the compass points you can apply to your personal life, peace of mind, and am I performing are a constant struggle. But if I can be happy with my performance, peace of mind just falls in place.
Okay, so I have a quote for you
Go ahead.
that I don't know if you've heard this one before. If you have, great. But the quote basically goes, you can count the number of seeds in an apple, but you can't count the number of apples in a seed.
Go on.
So when you
True.
talk about reaching one person, and that's your goal, when we reach that one person, you can't count what's going to happen in the life of that one person because of the connection with your content, with your book, with your podcast, with your relationship. They can go home with that new vision for themselves, for their family, treat their partner better, build a better home for their family. That impact has impact beyond a single point of connection into a new life and a new direction that impacts multitudes of people. So you can't count the number of seeds in an apple. So you just don't know, right?
I agree. And, we sometimes forget how we impact a seed.
Right.
And I recently reconnected with somebody that I had worked with like more than 10 years ago. And so we had an opportunity to reconnect one of those seeds. And she told me that one thing you said before you actually moved from New Jersey to Cincinnati was that I needed a reset and that I was going to take this job promotion. And just the words that I needed a reset stayed with me, meaning this person I spoke to. And with that, she also, several years later, decided to leave her current work situation and start a new life because she needed something different. She needed a reset. And because of that, who knows? She talks about having a great relationship with her husband. Her kids are thriving. She feels liberated now. You don't know, to your point, her ecosystem is now impacted because of something I said. Oh my,
See?
what a great episode here.
I like it. I like
Yeah.
it. Okay, so when you're talking to leaders in your podcast, are you pinpointing some of the places where maybe they've kind of lost track on their compass a little bit, and your book and the things that you've written about kind of come to your mind in the moment when you're talking to these people going, I can see where you're kind of drifting a little bit from your real passion. Do you see that kind of pop up in conversations now that you have the book as a reference for yourself?
Yeah, what I see in leaders again, and just know the CEO's Compass, your guide to get back on track. Yes, I had to market it to C-suite leaders. So if they're off track, here's how you can get back on track. But for any of you listening out there, I honestly wrote it for anybody, regardless of where they're at in their business career, because sometimes they don't have a support system. But if they can learn some of these lessons earlier, they might be able to perform better or avoid some of the problems that some of these leaders have had. So, one of the areas where I see leaders get off track, I think really is in their purpose. So that also is like the Northwest compass point. They get caught up that, they'll go in, they do their 30, 60, 90-day evaluation, and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and change the world. And what I find happen is they lose their purpose. And again, if they can't be very grounded in their purpose, they're never going to get to peace of mind. What these leaders start doing is they get caught up into the corporate ecosystem of having to chase results. And so what they'll do is if they need to get more sales or they need to have more profitability, they will start cutting corners and beating the people to get certain results. And what happens is then the other compass points start suffering. They don't necessarily see the people dynamics. They don't see people losing their confidence and not knowing how to have critical conversations because they lost their purpose. Their purpose was to elevate people in an organization. So they knew exactly what to do. They had all the confidence and capability. And in turn, they'll serve their customers and the customers will feel it. And eventually the sales are going to come, the relationships are going to come because you took care of the people. When you get very small-minded and results-oriented and you lose track of your purpose, eventually you lose morale. You don't get the results on a consistent basis. And then ultimately you start losing your confidence and you drift farther and farther away from peace of mind. So I ask leaders to stay a little bit altruistic. What is your purpose? Your purpose here is to serve customers, serve stakeholders. You're here to serve your people. And if you stay true to that, the results are going to come. So leaders get off track from their purpose. And I ask that they relook at that. Why are they here? Mine? I am here to help people struggle less so they can spend more time with themselves, family, community, etc. That's all. I don't want them to work 12, 14-hour days. I want to make their work simpler, easier, and giving them the tools to navigate or let me drop in and help solve the business issue. So leaders get off track on purpose.
Well, okay. So then at what point does a leader need to recognize that they're drifting from being on track? Like, because the leaders that I know are so inundated with tasks and people and deadlines and times and meetings and reports, and they're just like, they go from one meeting to the next meeting. They're just like, the day is a blur. When are those moments that leaders can really hone in and see if I'm on the right track here?
Well, what they do is they get caught up in the day-to-day and they measure their value by activity. When they don't really revisit, like, what am I here to do? And really, it's to remove the barriers of the people in your care. When you can remove those barriers, then there's fewer issues for you to jump in and be a firefighter and then get into that endless circle. So they lack the discipline, one, to ask for external help because sometimes they'll need an external view to get through the issue. They lack the discipline to be able to look at the activity in front of them and determine what is valuable, what is not, what do they need to delegate, Eisenhower matrix. They lack that discipline, nor are they having a cadence with their people to ask them the question, what do you need? What do I need to help break down for you or help you build up your confidence? They just get wrapped up in this flurry. And so I ask these leaders to take a little bit of a sabbatical. Yes, you can take a day off. Take 4 hours off. Get away from what you're doing. And honestly, before I got on here, I was starting to feel a little overwhelmed. I was starting to get that butterflies of like, I'm not having enough creative time. I'm not doing enough proactive stuff. I sent a note to myself when I'm done today. I'm going to actually look at my whole calendar and see what's value added. What can I delay? What can I just cancel? Because I need more free time to just think and plan versus just doing all the time. So again, disciplined leaders, you have it in your control to just stop, even for a few hours, a few days, maybe take a week off and sort out what you're doing and look at what is value add and what is not value add. Because if you don't, how do you think your people are going to act? They're going to be in that hurry scurry. You're setting the example, a poor example, to basically destabilize the organization. So harsh words, but you got to pause and slow down and be disciplined.
Well, I'm glad that we're still in your calendar here, that you're on my show, because this is great content for our audience. So
this
thank
is
you
value
for making
add.
time.
This is value
okay,
add.
good.
Yep.
Good. So the book is not just designed for C-suite leadership. We can then apply these lessons from your book to a wider audience as well. So who else do you think can benefit from what's in this book that we can apply this to our daily life?
Okay. So here's where I struggled with my editor, my book coach about, but this book is so necessary for middle level leaders. So these are the people, let me kind of paint a picture, a demographic. They could be between 35 and 55. They may or may not have family responsibilities, taking care of elder adults, etc. They are just in this whirlwind of working really hard, moving up and trying to balance everything. And what I find is that they don't cultivate an internal support system. Nope, they've been really good at their craft, whether in sales or customer service, and they get ahead by just working hard. But what they don't necessarily do is teach them some of the essential skills. Like, what if you are working with somebody that you got a gap, you got a barrier, how to have challenging conversations with confidence. You have to give a presentation. How do you get up in front of a room to be able to not only deliver the information, but what is the impact and risk or opportunity? We never give you frameworks or how to even ask for feedback. How am I doing? And don't accept fine as an answer. Say, no, what should I start? What should I change? What should I continue doing? We don't necessarily give them the essential skills. And again, while these are skills that I want to remind the C-suite leaders of what they need to develop their people, if you're a middle level leader and I'm giving you these these insights to the C-suite leader, you can apply these skills to your own role. The CEO's compass in my mind was still written for the middle level leader. So I could be your support system, build up your confidence, and know here are some of the essential skills and things that I made a mistake on. I share a lot of stories about where I screwed up because I didn't have that guidance, but I've learned over time a few things. So I want This is like 80, 90% of the population I would love to connect with. The CEO's Compass, your guide to get back on track, is an amazing tool to teach you some of the essential skills to get a seat at the table and have a greater impact. That's really the other people that can benefit from this book.
Okay. I like it. I like it a lot. For the reader, then, I would love to kind of get from the author your love letter to the reader. Just as you think of this, a new reader going to read this for the first time. They got a copy of your book in their hands. They haven't even opened the cover yet. What's your love letter? What's your message to them before you read this book? Wait. Before you read, from an author to the reader, this is my heart for you before you read the first word. What is that message?
Oh my God, I care about you and I see you.
Okay.
Because I myself have been that person looking out the window. I don't want you to struggle as much as I did, but I see you truly. I'm a person, if we get on the phone, we get on a Zoom call, I see you for your gifts that you can't see right now. And you need, I propose to you, like I said, you're not broken. You just need a support system. You need a compass. You need somebody talking to you who really cares about you. You don't have to struggle as much. Do the great work you're meant to do to help customers and colleagues, and ultimately go home at the end of the day and really say, I've done a good work and now I can spend plenty of time with my family. So I didn't read the first chapter of my book, but it's because I honestly care about you. You're the reader. I'd love for you to read the book.
I love it. So you said you can see gifts in others. What have others seen in you as your gift?
Well, my gift is my voice. So I didn't realize this. Again, I'm a talker, I can articulate. But over time, a lot of people have said things about, Deb, you came into this crisis situation. Maybe we had a customer complaint, and you had this unique way of being able to listen to what everybody said. And when you spoke and reframed and stated what I thought the problem actually was, your voice was so calming. And people have told me this time and time again, my voice, when it comes back, is calming, settles people, directs people, guides people, and it does something to them, because even when I show up as a guest or show up as a host, everybody says they love my voice. So then on to that, what can I then do with this voice? So while I technically practice as a quality operations leader working in manufacturing companies, in the process of writing, of podcasting, and everybody I come to meet says, you've got this great radio voice. Given that this is a gift, I have been exploring ways to extend this gift, to reach people's ears, to reach people's eyes. I'm thinking about starting doing, podcast interviews face to face with my guests. I'm trying to get more speaking opportunities. I'm guesting on shows with gracious hosts that allow me to share my voice, because if the sound of my voice and what I say resonates, then I can get into people's minds and hearts. And like you say, plant a seed.
Well,
So my voice is my gift.
Well, I second that wholeheartedly. I think you do have a very captivating voice, and I think how you show up is also a big element as well. So I'll package that all together with your knowledge, your skills, your talents, and how you've helped so many people in the past. Just seems logical to, this could be a big step for you, and there's a lot of great opportunities ahead for you. And I'm excited for that.
I see it, and I was just thinking I should probably buy you a cup of coffee.
Oh, come on.
for that compliment.
There you go. Well done. I like that. So my show is Living the Next Chapter, so I do ask my guest this in the context of the name of the show. For you, you have this book out in the world. How are you, Deb, living your next chapter?
I'm trying to live who I really am, like I said, as a speaker.
Yeah.
And, always seeking ways, how can I make this a life of, and not only be fulfilling, but move me away from things that don't give me pleasure to things that do. So ultimately, again, at the end of the day, I married for, 37 years, 3 adult children. We sort of have certain financial goals. And so while my consulting and my work does pay the bills, I am forever finding ways to make my media presence, my voice presence, my visual presence valued such that I can do more of it, connect with people, and make a living doing it. And I'm forever in pursuit of trying to connect with people to help them or give them value so they can recognize the value and be pulled in that direction. I see it vividly, and that's another thing we haven't talked about. And a little bit of manifestation, but honestly seeing it and feeling it and my heart pulling me in that direction. We're on a stage right now. I'm talking with you, so I'm already practicing my craft. But I'm forever in pursuit of how can I make then this my life pursuit that's monetized, and I could do this day in and day out. The stuff that I meant to do, that I love to do, not just what I do.
Yeah.
That's the next chapter.
Okay. So we have people listening who can make this happen. They're listening to this conversation going, I need to talk to Deb. Who would you love to speak to? Who would you love to serve? Because they're listening to us right now. Let's make that connection happen. What do you see for yourself coming up? Who would you like to speak with? Tell us.
Well, so here's the thing. I've tried many avenues for the people I think value my voice and what I can say, or how could I inspire them or share my insights to help other people. If you're a CEO of a company, small and medium-sized company, and you just want to be able to upskill or inspire your team because you're ready to go through a major transformation or growth, let me talk to you. Or are you, I don't know, an event coordinator? That, oh my God, somebody just dropped out. I need a speaker. I am happy to drop in. Are you thinking about having lunch and learns at your company and you just want to be able to offer some value and elevate your people? Just talk to me. I will do this complimentary because I just want to be able to meet you and meet your team and impart and plant some seeds. So anybody that is responsible for bringing inspiration and new thoughts to an audience, let's connect. Event coordinator, team leader, CEO of a company. And if you just found value in my voice, I'd love to just have a conversation with you and see what we can do to collaborate.
Excellent. And if you have a massive budget and you're looking to spend it on a great human being who's going to make your business better, then I'm sure that Deb would be open to accepting your financial contributions as well. But Deb, I love the book. I love the idea behind the book. And I love how you show up in this world. So I wish you many, many great things in the future. And thank you so much for making time for us. Let's send people to your connections where they can book you and spend time with you. Where would you like to send the listener, Deb?
Yeah, so you can connect with me at dropinceo.com, DROPIN, Just go to my contact page, write me a message. I'll connect with you directly. There's no admin behind the scenes. Or the other place is LinkedIn, Deborah A. Coviello, the Drop-In CEO. It's my playground. Direct message me, connect with me. I would love to have a conversation with you and get to know you. So again, Dave, thank you so much for the opportunity to speak on your show.
Excellent. And if you've lost your way in business and you're looking for a compass to get you back on track, you have a new book for you to put on that shelf. But don't just put it on the shelf. Put it into practice. Put it into play. And you'll get some traction. And when you're ready, reach out to the author. I know Deb would love to talk to you about the book, about how you've implemented the book. And she also has a great podcast as well. So we'll have a link for that. Go listen and subscribe and follow, because you're going to get great content on a regular basis from an amazing voice who knows what she's talking about. Deb, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you again, Dave.
Hey, thank you so much again for pressing play. As you've heard, great guests on the show. And one thing you didn't hear in this conversation is what? What did you not hear? Think about it for a second. That's right. Not a single solitary commercial for a mattress or a supplement or a whatever you call it. No. Why? Because we don't want to break up the conversation with commercials. So the fact that you're still here means that you are a fan of the show, I'm assuming. So if you want to help to keep the podcast going and to make me feel really happy, all I really care about is coffee. Okay, I just got to be honest. I love coffee. I'm drinking one right now. It's starting to get cold. I need to warm it up. Helping us with our Buy Me a Coffee link over at livingthenextchapter.com and also in the show notes helps kind of keep the lights on around here. Remember, I'm doing this for free. I'm paying for everything. So I would love to have a little coffee donation, even $5 kind of fills up my cup. And I would love to enjoy a coffee from you. So if you're interested, again, thank you for listening. But you can use our Buy Me a Coffee link and fill up the cup. Thanks for being here.